What's going on YouTube? Technician Troy here again with the old girl. We're gonna try to knock out this rear end swap in this wonderful soupy 60% humidity here in Tennessee. Hopefully we can have this swapped out. Don't know about the drive shaft. It's kind of a gray area. We'll figure that out. Have a sneaky suspicion from what I've done some research on. I can use a bastard joint. We should be okay. And I'll explain that here in a bit. Whenever we get these two out, we can compare them. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, I'm probably going to have to drop the tank. Hoping I don't have to, but if we do, whatever. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to disassemble the parking brake. I'm going to disassemble the brake hoses. I'm going to pull the shocks off because if you'll see, I've got Calvert shocks already on this new rear end. This new rear end's actually already narrowed. It came out of that 87 chassis. It's got new cow tracks on it. It's got 410 gear in it with a Detroit locker. Brand new brakes, brand new seals, 3-inch studs. So we should be ready to go racing, fellas. So let's go ahead and dig into it, all right? So let me grab some tools and we'll get back at it. What I need is more tools. This happens to have new U-joints in it already, and that might actually let me see what size this yoke and this joint is. Unless it's already got a bastard joint, then that would be sweet. That's tighter than a tick's ass, son. How about this one? That one's tighter than a duck's butt. Duck's butt's watertight if you didn't know. Damn. Oh, and they're like swimwear. Whew. Alright. Maybe now I can get this guy broke loose. Fuck. Andre the Giant was working on it. I don't know why I do this. I got all the electric tools in the world over there. Every one of them. I don't know why I do things by hand. Don't know why. Sketchy. It's alright, I'm just underneath the truck and all, that's fine. Alright. Another cap off. Now, I have enough. I guess we'll see. She's tight. I don't know if that 9-inch is going to work with this drive shaft, but we'll find out. So what I'm doing, there's 3 different yokes for a Ford 9-inch. You got a 1310, 1330, and a 1350 yoke. They're all differentiated by length or, you know, overall yoke to yoke, and they're differentiated by the size of cap. So the question is, I don't need to be here, I need to be in inches. I want to measure, this is what came off the drive shaft, and if it is 1 1/8 inches, then we are a 1330. And that is in fact 1 1/8 inches. So that is a 1330 drive shaft. Now, where I said we might have to do something with the drive shaft, well, excuse me, it's a 1330 yoke or U-joint. The reason I said we were probably gonna have to do something with the drive shaft is because the yoke on the 9" actually measures you'll see this right here, there's the stop for the joint. I have seen guys grind these out and all that to make these work. Folks, you can get bastard joints. So what I mean by bastard joints is one size fits the drive shaft, or one side of the joint fits the drive shaft side, the other side will fit the yoke side. All right. Sorry, I'm sweating like a whore in church. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna measure from where from where the cap meets here and it goes down into this land here. And the reason you're going to do that is because that's going to give you your length. Now, the problem is this is 3 1/4 inches. Well, 3 1/4 is not a 1330 joint. It is a 1310 yoke. So the question is do I buy a bastard joint, or do I buy the correct yoke to meet to a 1330? Given a 1330 is more beefy, it's stronger. This truck right now does not make the power I want it to make. Eventually we will. So right now I think I'm just gonna go with the bastard joint, just to get to know name, just so I can see you guys and gals, and hopefully make a few passes with you. Hopefully not break nothing, hopefully have a good time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get back into pulling that rear end now that we've done a little bit of research on both, and stab this one back off in, and I will likely order I call it a bastard joint. A lot of people call them conversion joints, something of that nature. I've always heard them bastard joint. What I will probably do is go ahead and stab this in, and I'll order me a Yukon one, and it should be here probably in the next day or two. We're gonna have to take these back wheels off to assemble the drums. Oh, well, all right then. We have an axle seal, I believe, puking. Yes, we do. Good thing we're changing this rear end out. Those rear drum brakes don't work worth a damn. Or are they just melted? No, that's definitely rear end. All right. As much as I don't want to disassemble this, I'm gonna have to. Shit. Told you we'd get into drums. All right. One cable down. Sadly, my light died. It's all right, I can do it by feel. This one shouldn't be too bad. I don't want to hold me up down there. There it is. Apparently the truck's not all the way down. Had to open your mouth, didn't you, Troy? Oh, this one shouldn't be too bad. There it is. All right, now that that's done, round one, fight. Now I just put that size on there and it didn't fit. Oh, I didn't try hard enough, I don't think. Get all the crap off of it is a problem. There we go. Just get them broke loose, then I'll come back with a regular wrench. Remember, everything's a hammer if you try hard enough. There you go. There it is. Give it back. You can't have it. Thank you. Brake fluid. Round two, fight. There it goes. All right, we're gonna let that sit there and drip for quite a while. Good to put on the safety squints because get all the particulates in your eye. That's always fun. Nice. There's that. Keep those. All right. Well, now the next thing we got to do is we got to unbolt the leaf springs. And to do that, I'm going to need that jack over there. All right. It's gonna be close. Be so mean, Josephine. Come on out. Onward to the other side. I use this jack and go wee. And last but not least. And I'm sure we're gonna forget something. I'm sure. I mean, it only makes sense, right?
Right.
To get hung up. You're gonna have to loosen the jack up because I can't do this by myself. Make sure I'm underneath it when it falls, because that would be uncomfortable. I don't know, maybe. Let me take this back one out. Maybe I can get lucky and work my way out of it. As you can see, where that bolt's touching.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm curious as to what do I want to take for the next action. I got two options here. Option number one being to cut that bolt, seeing as how we already have new bolts. Option two, which is the correct way, is to drop the gas tank. We cut it. Got an idea. Let's saw right next to the damn tank. What do you think? Yeah, fuck it. Ah! Can't see nothing with this light right now. Oh yeah, we're almost through. Now we're giving a mollywop. No longer installed. All right, now I do believe we are ready. Let's unplug this to pull this differential out. Let's see what happens here. Lower the jack. Right there. Lower it down. All right, hold on right there. once again, forgot something kind of important. Vent tube. I'll get it in a minute. Lower down. All the way. All right, we're on the ground. So, let me make sure I get this vent tube off. Now we gotta pull this out from underneath the car. Pull. Keep going. All right. Well, there is the stock 7.5. That is the last piece of stock drivetrain in this truck. The only thing different about this one compared to the bone stock one is the fact that this one's got a spool installed. I may save it just for something else, or in case the 9-inch breaks. God, I hope not. If I break the 9-inch, that's going to take talent, I believe. So we're going to make sure everything lines up, and I'm not going to be able to use that brake hose or that brake line, so I'm going to have to rebuild a brake line and bolt everything back in. All right, so we pulled the 7.5 out, measured everything up. Everything looked good, copacetic to the 9. We slid the 9 under. Right now it's just sitting on the jack. I got a bolt, like 3 threads just kind of in there holding it, so you kind of get a good idea. I'm looking at about where it's going to be centered at in the rear end. It looks correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and throw some bolts in. I need to make a brake line, and I'm going to get the, I got to wait for the U-joint to get here, the bastard joint. And when it gets here, we'll be able to put all that together. I'll be able to take the drums off, check and make sure that the park and brake cables that I have will work. If they don't, who needs park and brake anyways? It's an automatic. I'm kidding, kinda. I'll figure that out when I come to it. That's what I'm saying. And then once we get everything bolted back up, we'll bleed the brakes and then hopefully shake down. So let's get back to stabbing some bolts off in this thing and get it hung up in there just so I can see what it looks like. Yeah, lower that down just a little bit.
Oh, this is the one.
Yeah. A little more. All right, hang on right there. Pump that up. Keep going. All right, right there. Let me get a pry bar and a mallet. Just need a small one. Leave everything loose because it's suspension. You tighten everything up with a load on it. I can't see it, so I can't see. Oh. I have a big flat washer somewhere.
Did you have it?
It came off the damn window. That's not safe. That's not safe one bit, fellers. That's all right. I got life insurance. How you know if you don't use it? How you know if it's any good if you don't use it? I have to deal with this another day. But they're so pretty and new. There's bound to be a way to use them. I'll figure it out. And if not, well, looks like the old ones will actually work because they're the right length. So that might be good news. All right, let's go put this last bolt in. Now then, if a man such as myself could get lucky, we'd be damn close. Like I said, I want to leave them loose because I want to put it on the ground or on jack stands and tighten everything up. But what this gives me the ability to do now is I can put wheels on, check fitment, make sure they sit where I want, make sure back spacing is correct. Also, I can kind of guess about this rear drive shaft, make sure that master joint's actually going to fit. So I have all of the space. It's actually a better fit than the 7.5 that was in it, because when it was installed in the 7.5, my slip yoke was very close to bottoming out. You at least want 3/4 of an inch of play for your slip yokes, okay? This being a two-piece drive shaft, the front's pretty much stationary. This one being the 1/2 inch, or the rear being a little bit better. Also, when we got the 7.5 out, I really noticed a lot of issues with it that I didn't know that were there. They kind of arise. You know, I got bushings that are going bad. I had some wheel seals going bad. So this is actually a really good time to do it. So, like I said, I've got a brake line to make. I've got a joint coming in tomorrow. I want to make sure I check the fluid. I want to make sure that it's on level ground or actually on jack stands with the weight of the vehicle on. You never want to tighten up suspension components when it's in the air. The geometry is not correct for it. You want the weight of the vehicle. If you've got a drive-on rack, if you don't, do it my way, like I've got here. I don't have a drive-on rack here readily available. I do at work, but obviously I'm not going to drive it with suspension loose. So jack it up at the front and rear. Put your 6-ton or whatever jack stands you got under the axle and under the control arms. That way the weight of the vehicle is sitting on it, so everything is as it would be. So as of right now, I'm at a stopping point, and we'll get back to it here in a minute.